In 1955, Hollywood's brightest rising star climbed into a small silver Porsche he customized himself. Within a week, he was dead, and the car, the twisted wreck of metal left behind, kept injuring, maiming, and even killing people for years afterward. Some say the Porsche 550 Spider, known as Little Bastard, was cursed. Others say it was just a deadly machine with a brutal design. But here's the strange part. Even after the car was destroyed, people still claimed it had a mind of its own. Today, we're diving deep into one of America's most enduring, eerie legends. This is the haunting story of James Dean's cursed car, Little Bastard. James Dean's death is one of those moments everyone knows, even if they've never seen a single one of his movies. But the story almost always stops at the crash. What people don't talk about is what happened before the crash and what kept happening after. Because the real mystery isn't James Dean, it's the machine he left behind. A Porsche so infamous that even mechanics refuse to touch it, and even historians don't agree on what happened to it. So let's go all the way back, before the movies, before the fame, before the curse supposedly began. James Dean wasn't born a rebel, he became one. Born in 1931 in Indiana, he lost his mother at the age of 9. It shattered him. After that, he bounced between relatives, grew more restless, and started breaking rules. Not because he was bad, but because he never really fit in. He found comfort in two things: acting and speed. By the time he was in his early 20s, he was starring in East of Eden and Rebel Without a Cause. He became the face of teenage rebellion, moody, intense, unpredictable. But the people who knew him privately said he wasn't wild at all. He was quiet, thoughtful, hyper-focused, and when he wasn't on a movie set, he was around engines. He studied mechanics, memorized technical manuals, and talked about cars the way musicians talk about guitars. To James Dean, racing wasn't a hobby. It was oxygen. And in early 1955, he finally bought the car that matched his obsession, a Porsche 550 Spider. Before we get to the curse, you have to understand what the Porsche 550 Spider really was. It wasn't a normal sports car. It was a racing weapon. Only 90 were ever made. Each one was handcrafted, nearly skeletal in its design. Ultra-light aluminum body, mid-engine layout, a screaming flat-4 motor, and a top speed that could hit 140 miles per hour. Insane for 1955. Drivers called it the giant killer because it could outrun cars that were twice as powerful, but it was also dangerous. The car was tiny, barely over 2 feet tall. Its frame folded easily in crashes. It had almost no protection for the driver. One racer, Ken Miles, famously said the Spider was more like a loaded gun than a car. That warning will feel chilling later. James Dean didn't just buy one. He modified it in ways that made it stand out, and some say feel alive. James Dean didn't treat the car like an object. He treated it like a character. He gave it Scottish tartan racing seats, hand-painted racing stripes, the number 130, and the name Little Bastard in pinstriped letters. People joked that the name fit Dean, but Dean insisted it fit the car. A friend once asked him, "Why call it that?" Dean shrugged and said, "Because it's a mean little thing." Some said he smiled when he said it. Others say he looked serious. But as soon as the car appeared in public, people started noticing weird things. It wasn't the car's look, it was its presence. People claimed the car made them uneasy. They felt watched standing near it. Dean seemed more reckless driving it. One mechanic reportedly refused to work on it. And then came the warning that still haunts this story. On September 23rd, 1955, 7 days before the crash, James Dean ran into British actor Alec Guinness outside a Hollywood restaurant. Dean excitedly dragged him outside. "You have to see my new car." Guinness later described the moment in his diary. "I felt a strong, cold shiver. The car looked sinister. It frightened me." When Dean asked what he thought, Guinness didn't hold back. He told him, "Please, never get into that car. If you get in that car, you'll be dead within a week." Dean laughed it off. Guinness told interviewers decades later, "I didn't know why I said it. It just came out of me." 7 days later, to the hour, the prophecy came true. September 30th, 1955. James Dean woke up excited. He was heading to Salinas for a race, his second big one. Originally, Little Bastard was supposed to be transported on a trailer, but at the last minute, Dean decided to drive it himself to break in the engine. His mechanic, Rolf Wüthrich, went with him. The entire day was filled with small, unlucky moments. They were pulled over for speeding. Another officer warned them to take it easy. Friends who saw Dean said he looked tired. A mechanic said the car felt off that morning. By late afternoon, Dean was cruising up Route 46. The Spider hugged the road beautifully. Witnesses said Dean looked relaxed, peaceful even. At 5:45 p.m., a Ford Tudor made a sudden left turn across the highway. Dean had no time to avoid it. The Spider slammed into the heavier car. The impact was so violent that witnesses thought the Porsche had exploded. James Dean was killed instantly. Wüthrich was thrown from the car, but survived. The little Porsche was destroyed, but the curse wasn't, because the story was about to get much darker. After the crash, the remains of Little Bastard were purchased by car customizer George Barris, and from the moment he got it, the weirdness began. The very first day he received it, the wrecked Spider slipped from its support cables and crushed a mechanic's legs. 2 race drivers bought functional components from the wreck. The engine, the transmission, both crashed during races. One of them died. A garage storing the Spider burst into flames. Everything burned, except the wreck of the Spider. Firefighters said it was strange, because the fire didn't match typical burn patterns. Little Bastard was eventually placed in a traveling safety exhibit, meant to warn people about the dangers of reckless driving, but the accidents kept happening. During a safety exhibit, the car's platform collapsed without explanation, injuring several people. More than once, a truck hauling the remains of Little Bastard crashed, sometimes with serious injuries. One driver swore the car shifted its weight before the crash, even though it was strapped down. But the strangest part, in 1960, the car simply vanished. The Spider was being transported between safety displays. The truck arrived, but the trailer was empty. No one saw it. No one heard anything. No trace was ever found. To this day, collectors believe the remains are out there somewhere, or that someone destroyed it on purpose before it could hurt anyone else. Theory 1. Coincidence, skeptics say. The 550 Spider was dangerous. Dean drove recklessly. Mechanics were sloppy in the 50s. Crashes were common in racing. So the curse is just a convenient story. Theory 2. Psychological imprinting. Some historians believe the legend of the curse caused people to act nervously around the car, leading to more accidents. Fear feeds chaos. Theory 3. The curse was real. Those who believe in the supernatural say Guinness's premonition, the fires, the crashes, the disappearance are too coincidental. Some believe Dean's restless, intense energy stayed attached to the car. That Little Bastard absorbed the violent moment of death and carried it forward. Theory 4. Someone hid the car. Collectors think someone stole it because they feared what it represented, or because they wanted to own one of the world's most infamous artifacts. But the truth, no one knows. James Dean lived fast and died young, but the car he left behind, that was something else entirely. It frightened actors, it injured mechanics, it killed racers, it survived fires, and then it disappeared. Whether it was cursed, haunted, or simply a dangerously engineered machine, one thing is undeniable. Little Bastard left behind a trail of fear that has lasted nearly 7 decades, and maybe that's the real curse. Oddly enough, decades later, a young, well-loved Hollywood actor would lose his life in a Porsche, but that is a story for another time. Thanks for watching.